If you walked into a library in Israel one day, you might see 5-year-olds reading books on physics while their parents, engineers, doctors, merchants, are still diligently taking extra classes, like young college students. In this place, knowledge isn't just a tool for earning a living, it's a second religion. The question is, why does a group that makes up only 0.19% of the global population claim more than half of humanity's Nobel Prizes? What makes this small nation, one that has faced exile and genocide, the ultimate symbol of intelligence and unparalleled innovation on the planet? The Jewish people originated in ancient Israel over 3,000 years ago. Through thousands of years of diaspora, from Egypt and Europe all the way to the Americas, they were often scorned, forbidden to learn, and driven from their homes. Yet paradoxically, the more they were oppressed, the stronger they became intellectually. Unlike many other nations, the Jewish people had no physical territory for thousands of years. They had only one thing that could not be taken away: knowledge. That's why a deep-seated belief exists in Jewish tradition. Knowledge is the only capital that cannot be stolen. Albert Einstein, a great son of the Jewish people, once said, "A life is not worth living unless it is lived for someone else or something else." And they have lived just so, turning learning into a way of life and understanding into a national strength. So what are the secrets behind the formation of Jewish intellect? First, their religion mandates study, understanding, and rigorous debate. In Judaism, studying isn't an obligation, it's a holy act. People don't just read the Torah, they debate it, analyze it, and question every single line. Torah study sessions aren't one-way sermons, they are logical debates like intellectual courtrooms. This encourages Jewish children from a young age to ask questions, challenge ideas, and seek reasons, rather than just obeying. This very mindset of always asking why became the root of their scientific creativity. Second, the miraculous role of the Jewish mother. In Jewish culture, the mother isn't just the one who gives birth, she's the one who sows the seeds of knowledge. Even during pregnancy, they listen to classical music, read books, and even do math, believing that rhythm and knowledge will transfer to the child. They eat dates, almonds, and fish, but they often avoid eating the head of the fish, believing that the child should be a leader, not a follower. When the child starts crawling, the mother will place a few drops of honey on a page of a book and let the child lick it. Consciously or not, the child's subconscious associates books with sweetness. They grow up believing that knowledge is a joy, not a burden. Third, the educational system emphasizes critical thinking and early practical application. From elementary school, Jewish children study math, science, and business concurrently. Sports are also important, but they prioritize disciplines that build focus and precision, like archery and shooting. They believe training the body is about training the mind, the ability to make fast, accurate decisions in any situation. In high school, they shift from theory to creating tangible products. Each student must work on their own project, sometimes a crazy idea, but they are encouraged to fully implement it. If the idea is good, it's often sent to research institutes or universities for further development. And in college? Final year students are often required to execute a project with the potential to generate a real profit, at least $1 million. It sounds unreasonable, but this is how they learn to create value, not just to get a job. Fourth, the entire family and community teach together. For Jewish people, learning doesn't stop at school. Parents teach their children every evening, neighbors help other children with homework, and the entire community upholds a culture of reading. In Israel, the average citizen reads 64 books per year, and the country leads the world in the number of books published per capita. And here's something unique. They don't focus on grades. A child who gets a low score might be asked by their parent, "How many questions did you ask today?" Because to them, asking the right question is far more important than knowing the answer. Scientists have repeatedly studied the Jewish IQ phenomenon. The average result, the IQ of the Jewish people is about 110, while the global average is around 100. Some hypotheses suggest thousands of years of survival pressure while in exile naturally selected individuals with superior intellect. A continuous culture of learning and debate helps the brain develop analytical abilities. Proper nutrition and early cognitive stimulation optimize neurological development. But perhaps the biggest reason isn't in their genes, it's in how they live with knowledge. For the Jewish people, learning is not for exams or degrees, but to understand the world and perfect the self. They see every act of learning as a step closer to God, to the ultimate truth. In Israel, there is an ancient proverb: if you want to be rich, study. If you want to be strong, study. If you want to be free, study. Jewish people regard knowledge as the only asset they can carry when driven from home, when everything else is stripped away. This is what helped them endure the darkest periods of history, from the Holocaust to the challenging early years of their statehood. And when peace arrived, they immediately converted that knowledge into the strength to rebuild their nation. Israel, a country only a fraction of the size of Florida, with arid land and few resources, ranks among the world leaders in technology, medicine, cybersecurity, and smart agriculture. Because they understand clearly, only knowledge creates miracles, the Jewish people aren't inherently smarter than us. They simply value intellect more than anything else. They teach their children how to think, how to ask questions, and how to patiently see a problem through. They view every failure as a valuable lesson, and every book as a teacher. If we learn to study like them, not to defeat anyone, but to understand ourselves and make the world better, then each of us can become the Jewish person of our own life. When they were exiled from their homeland, the Jewish people once asked each other, "What do we have left when we lose everything?" One person answered, "We still have our intellect." And that intellect has guided them through more than 3,000 years of history, from the ashes of genocide to the pinnacles of science, from a barren desert to a leading startup nation. The Jewish people hold no secret. They simply live by one truth: whoever controls knowledge controls the future. Knowledge is not an exclusive privilege. It is a flame, and you only need to be willing to take it. And when you hold that flame in your heart, you will never fear the darkness,